The following episode of the Comics and Crypto podcast is for informational purposes only, and anything expressed by the hosts or their guests is solely their opinion. This podcast does not constitute financial advice, and anyone wishing to invest should seek their own independent financial or professional help. Have fun and enjoy the show.
Hi, I'm Sean O'Hare, and I know comics.
Hi, I'm Spencer Vogel, and I know crypto.
Hi, I'm Kevin Lee Loader, and I don't know shit. This is the Comics and Crypto podcast.
Comics and crypto, crypto and comics, collector's world in a digital age. Comics and crypto, crypto and comics, it's where the next billionaires will be rich. Comics and crypto.
What is up, VeVe fam? Today we are joined with an incredibly impressive VeVe collector. We've only met recently, but I can tell you already his vision for VeVe and mint numbers are going to take him to elite levels, even higher than they already are. Please welcome Anthony Tuong.
Hey guys, how you going? Thanks for having me on.
Man, it's so nice to have you on here, dude. We've been talking for a while, and yeah, I've been wanting to get you on this podcast, so it's great to have you on.
Yeah, we've been trying to get together for a few months now. Finally here. Been busy working. You've been busy with your own thing.
Before we dive into your collection and your strategies, let's start from the beginning. What was your introduction to NFTs?
To NFTs?
Yeah.
I got into crypto. Not even got into, like I did my first small investment back in 2017, just on the hype train. You know, put a couple $1,000s in, took most of it out as soon as it crashed. Had no idea what I was doing. And then I think it was early last year, my brother told me to check my old portfolio. And I was like, what the hell? How did like a couple $100 turn into a few thousand? What's going on here? And then I tried to just got back into it. My brothers were already investing in crypto and NFTs. I had no idea what was going on, man. Like, to be honest with you, it was all, I couldn't understand it. Like these JPEGs, I don't know why these rocks were going for $1 million. These apes are going for, you know, just as much. And then they told me about these new projects that they thought were going to take off, like these other blue chip, NFT projects. I got into it. I bought a couple. They all turned to zero. And then I just kind of abandoned it. I left it alone. And then my brother got back to me in August last year and told me that Marvel was going to drop some NFTs. And that got my attention. And I'm a really big Marvel, DC comic superhero fan. So I'm not like you guys. I don't have a wealth of like extensive comic book knowledge. Very, very casual. You know, I have to watch YouTube videos to get to get educated. But yeah, that got my attention straight away. So as soon as I looked it up, jumped on the app, downloaded it, and then as soon as I bought my first Marvel comic, I bought everything else in the store. I started going through everything. I saw Batman, I saw Superman, I saw Spider-Man. I had to have it. So yeah, that's how I got started.
What was your first NFT that you bought on VeVe?
It was the Marvel Comics 1 drop.
It was. Wow.
Yeah, I got 4, I think it was on drop, four commons. 4 commons. My brother actually got a secret rare on drop. And he's still holding it today. He's not going to let that go, for years and years. There's no point.
My good buddy Roth Ryan, he got it on drop day as well. And I was like, dude,
crazy, right?
hold that.
Yeah, I remember like back then, like when you were looking at this, it felt like you were like you're looking at the comic on your phone. It felt like you were looking back in time almost,
Yeah.
It was pretty cool, man. I saw that, I was like, I have to have it. I have to have all of them. So yeah. As soon as I didn't land any secret rares, I bought one straight away on the secondary market. And then, the next like week or two, I was just going through the entire VeVe app. I didn't know, there were so many different Batmans. I didn't know which one was which. I didn't know that Spider-Man was the first Marvel and Spider-Man NFT. But then once I started learning about it all, just grabbed as much as I could afford, really.
That's awesome. Did you understand the historical, like the value, the significance of Marvel Comics 1? Like when it dropped initially, or did you go back and once you realized you like made more moves on it?
Marvel Comics 1, I'm very, I guess, surface level like knowledge of comics. I know the big first appearance books. I've always known them. I've always been interested in them. Never been able to collect them because I've pretty young, was running a company this whole time, wasn't really liquid. Most of my money was tied up in equity, so I couldn't really just go out and buy $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 comic books. So for me, when Marvel Comics 1 came out, I wasn't sure because I never really heard of it. For me, it was Fantastic Four 1 has always been the book for me.
Yeah.
That is, to me, like that started all of Marvel as we know it. You know, like that, like everything that we enjoy today is because of that book, pretty much. Marvel Comics 1, I was like, oh man, I don't know. And then I looked it up. And then I was like, oh fuck, like someone's like, it was going crazy on the secondary market. So I kind of just aped into that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I wasn't quite sure. And then it just over the next like few weeks or months, it just built this like aura of there's this air about it, like it was the comic to have.
Yeah.
So yeah.
To add to your point, I mean, we were on the same page when I
Yeah.
heard comics were going to be dropped. Fantastic Four 1, that was the first. That was the
Yeah.
first one that I was so excited for that drop because for me,
Yeah.
I mean, I had the opportunity to buy that as a physical, and I messed up. I didn't buy it. You know, I skipped. And I was like, here's my second chance. And they announced
Yeah.
Marvel Comics 1 was going to be the first one. I thought, okay, well, that's interesting. That comic has significant historical value, but not so much pop culture value like Fantastic Four 1. Over the past 6 months, I've come to realize that comic now has tremendous pop culture value because it's the first NFT comic dropped by
Yeah.
Marvel.
Because of VeVe, you think?
Because of VeVe. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And in return, it's going to
Because
resonate
the-
on the physical
like-
side. There's only 64 physical copies on the CGC census. That's it. So it's
That's
non-existent.
insane.
Yeah.
And you'd assume there are like none that are ungraded as well, right? Surely they're not floating around.
It's very rare to see comics of that caliber see
Yeah.
them ungraded. It's
Yeah,
not
that's
it's
like-
not very common. Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah, man. Crazy.
mint numbers. I've come to learn, especially through comic books, the significance of mint numbers, and not just low mint numbers, but mint numbers tied specifically to NFTs.
Yep.
And we've had conversations about this, but you have quite the collection of mint numbers connected to publishing years.
Yeah, that was these books. I mean, like I think I'm gonna get back to like the legacy, the background. These books, you know, from decades ago, they formed so many stories over the years, so many movies. It's I don't know. It's just there's so much rich context, background, legacy, history with some of these really big characters and books. So I thought, you know, like obviously low mint numbers, amazing. You know, the cleaner it looks, the more attractive it's going to be in your collection. And also everyone wants to be first, so the lower the better. But you know, I thought numbers that are have more meaning or significance is generally always going to be received better by like real like collectors, people who like enjoy these books, that really love these characters. They want something that has a lot more meaning. So I remember like even just before that Marvel Comics 1 drop, I was talking to my brothers who introduced me to the app, and I was like, man, I'm going for these numbers. This is all I care about. I want 616, I want 1939, or I want 1. But then I found out that VeVe was holding the first 5. Or I want the last one. That was it. I want 60,000, 6 or 1939. Yeah. And then the same thing with Fantastic Four 1. So, you know, it was either going to be, you know, 616, 1961 or 60,000. For me personally, no one needs to agree with me here, but I like the publishing year mint number the most because it just feels like it's the number that's most connected to the actual NFT or comic or collectible. I prefer that over number 1, to be honest, unless it's Fantastic Four 1, which is like also the issue number, which is, I don't know, yeah.
It's so funny you say that because I actually on a recent podcast, maybe like a few months ago, we actually had this conversation and we were asking each other, Kevin and Spencer and myself, what would you rather have, the mint number connected to the publishing year or like the number 1 mint number? And for me, I was all about the publishing year. I mean, I look at that. I think that's incredibly undervalued even right now. I mean, it's truly a 1 of 1. And Kevin and Spencer are all about number 1. But for me, man, I feel pretty passionate that collectors and investors and comic collectors are going to be really excited about that in the future because it's 1 of 1.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. Mine are never going to hit the market. I mean, the main ones, but
So which ones do you have?
Like, I've got 11 of them. I had to write down a list.
You have 11. That's awesome.
Yeah. What do I have? I got Fantastic Four 1. So that's 1961. I got Fantastic Four 1962. Ultimate Fallout 4, 2011. New Mutants 98, 1991. Those are my four favorite because I love those books and those characters. So I had to have those. So I was hunting for months, man. Like I was just scrolling through, messaging everybody on the app, talk to me, message me on Telegram, on Twitter or whatever it is, please. Got Vengeance 1. I know you like that book.
Love it.
Yeah. X-Men 4. Strange Tales 111. I know 110 is available in market right now, but that's for too much money. Avengers 57, Jungle Action 6, Amazing Spider-Man 101. And then I've also got 616 of Fantastic Four 5 and Werewolf by Night.
That's
and then also that not brand was it not brand Eck? How do you pronounce that?
Oh, not brand Eck, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
right.
grabbed publishing you mint too because that was on the it was the ultra rare cover, and I thought that was just a funny cover, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd just grab that too, but that's not really, not in the same league as the other ones, I guess.
So you currently own about just over 10% of the publishing year mint numbers connected to the comic books.
Now, yeah, I did that maths yesterday too before jumping on this call. But yeah, a lot of these ones I'm not even, I don't want to sound conceited or like a douche or anything, but a lot of these comic books I'm not collecting. So out of the ones I want to collect, I'm doing my best to try and get those numbers. And then I'm hoping that the community also finds it valuable. If not, it doesn't matter. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already seeing them sell for a premium outside of the transactions I've seen you make. As you know, we've recently came out with Slabs, the Slab system, so people can show off their graded comic, or they're not graded, their comics on social media.
Man, you copped so much heat for that. I was messaging you on the side, like, man, are you okay? Like, why do you have to deal with this shit?
Okay. It all worked
free
out.
service. Guys.
Yeah. It's really awesome to see everybody enjoy them now. It's literally just presenting the data. It's just showcasing the data of what's on there, and people are having.
You can't argue with that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been fun, but people are really pressing hard for one-of-one slabs for significant mint numbers, and that's something that we've been talking about internally for quite some time. And I mean, the three that we know for sure. I mean, the biggest problem is we need data. We need data to show like what are people paying for premiums, because people are talking like palindromes, things like that, and like maybe, but we don't really have the data to know for sure if those would be selling for a premium. But the ones I do know for sure are selling for a premium are 616, the mint number connected to the publishing year, and the very last mint number. I mean, even David Yu in an interview with NFT Pirates has talked about, he believes that's one of the most significant numbers of every collection is the last mint.
It'd have to be, especially if the first X% is being withheld, right? If you don't have one, then it's going to be, and then the last mint number is the perfect mint number or whatever I mean, like that's considered it'd be the second best mint number in a normal collection if they had number one available. Usually
next to the publishing year.
Yeah, like you're not including like normal real world collectibles.
Yeah, exactly.
It runs, that last one is usually pretty coveted.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting over time because that list will change. It's not something that we're set in stone. We fully expect people to adapt and change their opinions on what's valuable. From the very beginning, I've been very excited about are the mint numbers connected to the publishing years.
Yeah, man,
really one of ones.
Yeah, and that you look at that number, that you look at that year number, and you're like, it has a different feel or air about it. You're like, I don't know. It feels like there's like you're looking back in time, or there's a lot of more history, or I don't know. It's just very different.
It's fascinating too because people are trying to understand why people value mint numbers so much. But really, this is already happening in physical collecting as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at graded comic books, right? I mean, really, at the end of the day, I know we're differentiating value based on degradation, but really, all it is in comics and graded cases, you look at the cover, it's the same thing, and then you look at the number on the top left corner. And, a 9.4, 9.6, 9.8, it's really hard to really know the difference with the untrained eye for the most part. But that number is what changes everything. And especially
the label is so funny, hey.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like 9.9s and 10.0s. We've talked about this. We've recently been dropping in. Everyone, if you haven't had a chance, definitely check it out. It's our top 10 comic books we're hoping to see drop on VeVe of each comic era. So we cover the modern age and the copper age and the bronze age, and
Bronze,
silver age.
silver, gold.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And there were a few, like in the copper and bronze age, there are a few 9.9s and even 10.0s, and some of them are even have like a 1 10.0. And it was interesting because we brought on some comic experts, including Sleeping Comics. Big shout out to Sleeping Comics and my buddy Brian. And they both look at those as a 1 of 1. They're truly, it's like an art piece. It's like an original piece of art. It's a 1 of 1. And that's where I think it's very possible that these publication mint numbers could go. It's very possible that this is the route things could go for these mint numbers, because they truly are 1 of 1s. So
yeah, I look, man, I'm biased and I agree with you completely.
yeah,
yeah, but look, that's how I value these. That's what I use to gauge value for these books as well. I mean, there's no back science and no one knows what's really going on right now, but I try and look at these comic books, not just based on the highest grade and go collect, but what would it be like if there was one copy of one grade above the highest grade? It doesn't have to be a 10.0, but if there's only like Fantastic Four, for example, was 2 9.6s, what if there was a 9.8? What would that, or what if there's only one 9.6? Then that's, because with all these really sought after collectibles, Pokemon cards, baseball cards, basketball cards, as you get to the higher end of the grading system or the value or whatever you want to call it, man, those multiples are crazy. You start 2 to 3x at each increment. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like that's how I try and see it. And then given that this is, I don't know whether you call it a digital reprint or a facsimile or whatever it is. I don't think it's like that at all, because I think it's, these are viewable in augmented reality. They have different covers. Yeah. They can add more utility to it later, potentially. Yeah. So I don't know. Right now, I kind of use like 10% of what a 101 would be to kind of gauge the highest I would pay for a 101 here on the. Yeah.
That's a really good assessment, man. And yeah, I feel the same way. I don't look at these as reprints. They're just digital counterparts of the IP. We're already seeing a lot of these comic books, these NFTs being valued more than their physical counterparts.
Exactly right.
It's happening.
Look at Todd, for example. Yeah, different because it's the first appearance of Batman in NFT or 3D modeled format, whatever you want to. Yeah, like it's a little bit different, but there is a real world counterpart. And you look at that, and I don't know, it kind of throws everything off when you see that. Hey,
statues are a bit more speculative because the market isn't as hot as comic books. But even the comic books, you're starting to see you're seeing NFT sales higher than their physicals, especially when they're more scarce. So people are buying more into the scarcity. But it's
your favorite.
Yeah, exactly.
Spider-Man 252.
You know how I feel about that one.
I've kind of said, I always agree with you from the beginning. Recently, I don't know, I haven't changed, but I'm starting to see the value in it, because they're like 15,000 graded copies. Who knows how many are ungraded in circulation? Like, it's still a little bit expensive for me, like on the VeVe app, but I can kind of see the value in that now. Like the secret rares, I might touch it.
Yeah.
I'm not.
There's just too many good books to come, man. And it's sad because that comic actually is it's a very popular comic for sure in the physical, but at the same time, like the value of that, man, I'd rather buy a physical 9.9 graded comic that actually just broke record for about $24,000.
Really?
Yeah. 9.9. And also original artwork from this comic sold for upwards of $3 million. So
yeah, I saw that. That was on Heritage. Hey,
I was thinking back in my head, oh, great, this is good. Here comes the NFT stuff.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Buy into popularity more than scarcity, because really, that's more important to me than scarcity. If you buy more into scarcity, you tend to get burned more often.
Yeah.
And again, none of this is financial advice, guys. I'm just giving my opinion.
When you say you buy into popularity, is that popularity like according to the wider community or to yourself, what you like the most?
All the above, but not necessarily me, because that's me assessing as a collector and not an investor. So really, as a collector, but even then, it's just, man, it's tough with that comic because there's a lot of them, and it's are people putting value in it right now because there's only 100 comics on VeVe. Like, what happens when there's 1,000 comics on VeVe and there's like a lot of one-on-ones running around?
Yeah.
Or
As soon as that happens, yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Like look what happened with Avengers 8. I think that's a pretty good example.
A great example. Yeah.
1,000 run, 10,000, what was it, minted run? I don't know what the terminology is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think I swear I saw that get to like 20 something thousand gems at some stage, maybe even higher. And then other 10,000 limited edition runs came and it's kind of dropped quite a bit.
Yeah. And that comic's very significant. I mean, it's a big key for sure.
Yeah.
The physical is, and as a 9.8 runs, I think a recent sales around $50,000 to $60,000, but sales have been upwards of about $70,000. So it's a very significant character and a very significant FA and book.
Yeah.
But yeah, that scarcity factor, man, played a big key in that, and that's the problem. When you buy more into scarcity than the actual IP, you got to know the difference between the two. And that's where do your own research comes in, guys.
Yeah, man, you have to. You got to do your own research.
We just want to take a quick break and talk about our collaboration with 2 Cents. We've been releasing our content on their app, and we absolutely love it because it allows us to better engage with all of you through voice messages and that you can leave in our episodes. It's also fun for us to hear your awesome comments, but we want the rest of the community to hear them too. We're planning to do a community Q&A for our upcoming episode, and we'll be taking your questions through the 2 Cents app. So leave us a voice comment on this episode in 2 Cents with the questions you want us to answer, and you'll have a chance to hear your own voice comment featured on the podcast. Make sure to use the link in the episode details below on how to get that set up on the 2 Cents app. Aside from the publishing mint numbers, what are there any other mint numbers you look into?
616, definitely, where like the universe that the book took place. So 616 for majority of these books. I'm looking for 1610 for Ultimate Fallout. Would love that one.
Very cool.
Yeah, look at that one. The last mint, if I can get it. And then, like right now, I think over the last few months, I've leaned a lot more into secret rares as well. Like before, I was just kind of collecting one just to have it. And then now I'm like, oh man, these are big books. And there's only 500 of these floating around. And yes, when the market took a dive, I just tried to grab the ones that I like the most, which is Fantastic Four 1, 5, New Mutants 98, and Ultimate Fallout. Those are my favorite characters. So that's why I asked you that question before. It's like, do you collect the stuff that you like, or is what the wider community deems to be the most popular or sought after? I like to collect the stuff that I like.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the same here. I mean, I collect the things that I enjoy, but also I know it has big upside as an investment as well.
Yeah. That's the
like
best. It's such an easy decision when that's how you,
So I'm a collector at heart with an investor mindset.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like if I never need to liquidate assets, these types of assets, then I never will. Like that's the only time I'm ever going to like take money out of the app is if my real life demands it or needs it, or if it's wiser or smarter of me to reallocate whatever value I've created in this NFT portfolio to another asset class. So yeah, like if it needs to go to property, or if family's in trouble or something, then that's when I'll try to take money off the app. But if that never happens in my life, touch wood, then these are never never going to hit the market
unless you want to rent it.
Yeah.
So what would you consider some of your best moves on the VeVe app out of your 6-month journey?
6-month career. Oh man. Best move.
Or just even one individual move. It doesn't have to be like an overall assessment, either or.
I remember the first time I got that Fantastic Four 1961. I just saw it on the market, and I used to just go visit the app every single day, just flick through, try and find it. Maybe one day it'll pop up. One day it did pop up, and then I kind of was in disbelief because it was only for like 3,000 gems. Yeah, exactly. And back then there wasn't a lot of off-app activity. I was still buying everything from the store. And I was in a panic, man, to try and load those gems just in case someone else saw it at the same time. I think that was probably my best move. I haven't had any like genius moves. It's just more persistence, just looking for the things that I want to see available one day. And if it pops up, if it's within reach, then I'll grab it. I haven't had any like genius moves, man. Like I definitely not. I mean, Yeah, not at all. I don't think.
So you've been very consistent with your journey as far as your investment structure. You've been very focused on.
Yeah, I mean, I've had this like when it comes to any collectible, I go after. So even if it's the collectible side of the things, I'm still looking for those mint numbers that are meaningful. And then I just go after. If I can't find that, then then I might try and find a double-digit mint if I can get one within reach. Yeah. So yeah, man, I haven't had. Yeah, I'm trying to think of it right now.
Do you believe in low mint numbers?
No. Like the only big maneuver that I did was when you were escrow on one of those deals. That's
I remember that. Yeah.
I made a big deal, So I had Avengers 8, 1964, which is a publishing year mint. And then I knew the guy that had Fantastic Four 5, 1962. And I love Dr. Doom, man. Like he's the best Marvel villain by far. I can't wait for him to be done like properly in the MCU. And then just that character built and developed as a villain or anti-hero or whatever over the next decade, 2 decades. I don't know. Just do him right. Because that guy, like I needed to have it. I had to have it. So yeah, you were escrow and I ended up trading that Avengers 8, 1964 plus a Walt when it was like 40, 45K gems for that comic. And then market took a dive and I bought my Walt back.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You're able to get that back, man. I remember that. That was an incredible trade between the two. Yeah. I was very excited for both of you, man. I said that too. I remember saying you both won big time here.
Yeah, man. You've always been such a good voice and advocate and supporter of the community. When other people were getting like really picking up really cool shit, you're always like right there supporting, like genuinely happy for them. Because a lot of people, they would get jealous or they want it themselves or they just not like they want, most people want things for themselves. It's awesome to see that.
Thanks so much, Anthony. Yeah, it's this community special and everyone's going to have a chance to win if they stick with it, and it's important to pick each other up.
Exactly. You've got to, man, especially when there's so like, I think a lot of the majority of the user base of VeVe right now, they're very new to putting money into things. So that, I mean, like it's always a long game. If your investment horizon on anything is not measured in years, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
If it's measured in weeks or months or whatever, you're going to get burned 90% of the time. You might get really lucky. And you might need it you might need to take a gamble given your financial circumstances at the time.
Yeah.
But man, it's a very, very, very risky play to not measure an investment maturity date that isn't in years. It's going to be.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And that brings me to your biggest mistake.
Oh man. I told you I was going to cry if I brought this up. Yeah, biggest mistake. Spider-Man Secret Rare 616. Had it for 2.1K gems and hesitated, man. So I'd made a bid. It was my first week at VeVe, so I wasn't sure how much money to put into it, or I was still learning. I just thought they were cool things, cool collectibles. So the Spider-Man Secret Rare, I was bidding on number 700, which I really like for Spider-Man, given there's only 700 issues in the original Amazing Spider-Man run, and then he dies in the last one. So I thought 700 is a really cool number. If you like Spider-Man, you know 700 is a pretty decently special number. And then I saw 616 pop up, like literally 15 minutes before I was supposed to potentially win this other one. And I was like, should I buy this one too? What if I win this other one? Is putting, $4,500 into this too much? So I just hesitated. And then I left it for I actually paid for the 700 first, and the 616 was still available like an hour after it. And I was just looking at it. And I was like, oh man, maybe I should get it. Or maybe no one would like 616. Maybe it's just me that likes this number. And then I didn't. Someone else picked it up. And I've been trying to reach out to me ever since.
You'll definitely have an opportunity on the app.
Yeah, that's a big one. I reckon that's got to be one of individual NFTs. That's got to be a top 5 on the app.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and
because you can't get a 1962 Secret Rare.
No. Yeah,
there's only 1,000 of them. Yeah,
it's a very good point. Yeah, it's gonna be fun when you have an opportunity within the app to reach out to people and connect and actually engage more than You know, right now it's tough. You can't search for people. You can't message people. But when you
Yeah, they
do
think you're a
that-
scammer. I've been called a scammer many times. I'm
Right.
like, man, I just want to trade. I want to buy something.
Exactly. Yeah. And especially when, you know, after KYC, you're going to be able to, you know, comfortably reach out to people and initiate trades, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
That's how it comes. to
Yeah,
fruition.
that'll be sick.
And being able to search for individual mint numbers, like that's going to be a really big deal. Really big deal.
Man, it is a chore. Like just scrolling through, I don't know, what do you get, like 50 numbers at a time or whatever it is.
It's exhausting.
Yeah,
It's
it kills
exhausting.
you. Yeah, it's a relationship ruiner too. When your partner is looking at you, like, what are you doing? There for an hour.
100%. So for all the people new people that are coming to the app, what's one piece of advice you could give them?
Man, I think you need to understand why you're here. That's like, don't just go in for the sake of it. I mean, anything where there's significant amount of money or investment, whatever resource it is that you're investing, you need to do it, understand the purpose. Like you can't just go through the motions of anything, whether it's your job, whether it's an investment decision. You've got to do it with purpose. You've got to do your research, whether it's 500 hours or 1,000 hours before you go into something. It depends how deep you're going in. But yeah, so know why you're going in for sure. Do it with a purpose. I would also say, yeah, we don't go through. It's a tough question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To add to that, but budgeting out too, making sure you
you definitely
your means.
And yeah, and then you got to back your convictions too after all of that. Like if you go in here and then you've done your, let's call it 30 hours of looking into it, researching, and then you put a few $1,000s in, and then you see a few negative YouTube videos or Reddit posts or Twitter posts, and then that turns you off the investment because of some random person on the other side of the world said that makes absolutely no sense, then you make no sense. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, who gives a shit what people think, man? Like, if you've done your research and you are comfortable with your knowledge set when going into this thing and why you're going about it, then it doesn't matter what's going on. For me, I'm pretty comfortable with what VeVe and Nicomi have done, or Orbis, whatever you want to call it, over the last few years, particularly this launching the VeVe app is insane.
Yeah,
I started a company with less than $1,000 about 9 years ago. It is so hard, man. Like we've taken on some very large blue chip shareholders into the business. It doesn't make it any easier. Everyone's like, oh, why don't you just bring money on and expand and do this and do that? It's not that easy. Like it's so difficult. And they're doing this. I have no idea how they're managing this many like large blue chip licensors. Like dealing with one big account already gives you that sort of paranoia, and it's just really like the workload is just insane. I don't know how they're doing this, man.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you brought that up because people are really underappreciating how much they are accomplishing in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
That's because everyone wants to make $1 million tomorrow. And it's, it's Reese and Dave, you and everyone else's job to do that by next week, or whatever it is. It's not their job. Like they're giving us an opportunity, and it's for us to work within the parameters of the platform now. It's insane. The last few months, I don't know whether when I was reading stuff, whether I was like giggling or laughing or getting also like frustrated about all this weird negative sentiment. There's no reason for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. It's crazy too when people get upset about the time frame of how things are going down right now. People are. I've seen multiple tweets or on Facebook, people saying, "I'm done. Forget. I'm going to sell everything. I'm done with VeVe. I'm done with the app." But what they don't realize is that you're not selling your collectibles that are owned by VeVe. You're selling. You're selling these collectibles, the first collectibles from the biggest IP of all time.
Yeah.
Disney and Marvel and DC, and it blows my mind that people don't understand that, and that alone tells me how many people just haven't done their own research on this app. And it's sad. It's really sad.
Either their own research, or they're just going in because everyone else is going in and they want to ride the hype train or whatever it is. I don't know, but there's a lot of cool shit in the app. And if you just, do a little bit of research, you buy what you like, I'm pretty sure you you should be okay.
The VeVe collectibles, have they turned you into physicals as well? Have you bought any physical comic books?
Yeah, I've always for the last ever since I was like in my 20s, I've always known what the big comic books were, but I never had the capital to buy investments. Everything went into my company, and then I was only recently liquidated a portion of my shareholding. So now, I'm started buying some stuff. I mean, Pokemon cards I'm buying.
Nice.
Always wanted. The comic books right now I've got. What did I buy? I bought Hulk 181, the Mark Jules insert most recently in an 8.5. I got Showcase 4. That's first appearance of the Flash, Barry Allen.
Oh, good for you! Wow.
Yeah, I got Showcase 22 as well. Green Hal Jordan. I bought that. What else I have? Obviously, Ultimate Fallout. But I want to get the Djurjevic variant. That's expensive though.
Yeah, recent sale, so everyone knows that's the secret rare on VeVe, but it's an incredibly valuable variant. And as a 9.8, it's sold for as high as $30,000 recently.
Yeah, you see, like every time I'm on like the comic consignment pages, and that book comes up, it gets claimed straight away.
Yeah,
like it is crazy. At 30K, and there's like 100 or something of them, isn't there?
It's definitely a popular book, and there's definitely quite a bit out there considering the value.
Yeah, it's insane. So next up, I want to buy Fantastic Four 1, Fantastic Four 5.
Love it. That's such a great move.
Yeah. I definitely want to, and because we'll see what happens. But you always see me I'm lurking on Instagrails or Elite Comics 11, and I'm messaging. And I'm like, oh man, I'm trying.
Yeah, that's awesome. Actually, I just spoke with Ali earlier today. Big shout out to Elite Comics 11 supporters of the podcast. So if you're looking for something specific, man, let me know. I can put you in touch with Ali directly.
That'd be awesome. He doesn't send they don't send stuff to Australia, because I bought a couple of smaller books off them before. I think I bought a Ditko variant, Amazing Spider-Man 700, to pair with my Spider-Man Secret Rare 700.
Oh very good.
I bought that.
That's awesome.
I'm going to be trying to pair as much as I can, like across digital comic book, digital collectible, and real life comic book or collectible. I will. But that takes time. I'm not going to go in and just buy any random stuff. I mean, I'll pick it apart over the next couple of years.
Yeah, 100%. Do your own research, be patient, find the right price. Exactly.
Yeah, like with this Fantastic Four 1, the reason why I've held off is because I recently learned that there's a Pence variant that is much rarer, was part of the first publishing run, but is not valued anywhere near the same as something that has cents on the cover. And I'm like, why is that? I'm like, is that just like a US bias? I don't know what it is, but I want that one because it's rarer.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I've been trying to get that one at what I believe to be a fair price, and hopefully I get it soon. Yeah.
Well, Anthony, it was so awesome having you on the podcast today, man. It's nice to finally chat with you, and
I know, man.
Excited to have you on again. I'm excited to see where your collection goes from here.
Anytime, I'll update you.
Yeah, of course. Every purchase, you got to update me.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for having me, man.
And everyone out there, make sure to follow him on Twitter at Caramello7763. His Twitter account are in the details below, and also on the YouTube channel.
And I'm not active. I use Twitter just to try and negotiate deals. So there's nothing to follow.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, maybe one day. Yeah.
All right. Thanks again for coming, guys.
All right. Thanks, man. All right. See you later.
Cheers.
Bye.
Don't forget to stay awesome, and remember, the moon, let's go to Mars. Music is by NineFinger. Make sure to check out their music at NineFinger.com. And you can follow them on Instagram at NineFinger999. Be sure to check them out and send them some love.
Comics and crypto, crypto and comics, collectors world in a digital age. Comics and crypto, crypto and comics is where